people like to say that I whine or like I'm a crybaby, and that may be true.
But you're also professorial. You're like a professor. You make people smarter.
It's like there's a method to the madness. I do whine and I do cry, but I like to say for valid reasons. Like, it's not like I'm sitting here and I'm a Patriots fan after 6 championships crying over a few bad seasons. I'm not sitting in Philly crying over an 11-win team a year after they went to the Super Bowl. I'm crying over years of dysfunction, years of not developing quarterbacks, years of not matching up the general manager and coach and quarterback all together. And I've dubbed it the circle of suck. And it's why, and I've wanted Kevin Warren to do the research and to say, oh, I get it. I know now why quarterbacks, we may have picked the wrong quarterbacks, but when Mitch Trubisky is drafted, and sure, we definitely screwed up when we didn't pick Mahomes, but when you pick Mitch and the head coach was left in the dark, and then when he was left in the dark, and then you ask him to develop that quarterback, one in which he never wanted to begin with, that's a failure to begin with. And then when you fire that head coach after 1 year with Mitch, and then you bring in a new system, he's behind the 8 ball again. And the same thing with Justin, with Matt Nagy, where the first year it was a lost year. And then you bring in a new system in the second year. And then now you're doing it again. Now you may be getting rid of the offensive coordinator with maybe now another coach on the hot seat if he doesn't perform. And you may draft another quarterback with that coach on the hot seat. And if you draft Caleb Williams or Drake May or whichever quarterback, and if they don't live up to expectations, are we going to get a new head coach with the young quarterback a year after the old coaching staff tried to develop him? It just drives me mad. And so, getting to your point about Kevin Warren, my question would be, didn't you learn, or aren't you worried about all the stuff that you learned in the past?
That history may be repeating.
And wasn't it your job to sort of stop that? While Ryan Poles may love Matt Eberflus, and that's great, and I love the loyalty there, and it was his first hire. But when he's the head coach and he needs to hire a new DC and he needs to hire a new offensive coordinator and running backs coach and wide receivers coach and tight ends coach, in essence, a whole new coaching staff, and then you're going to draft possibly a new quarterback, isn't it time to just start anew? Like this, that's not stability. That there's nothing stable about this situation right now.
Well, it's a trend that is continuing. If that's stable, like you continue to do the same things over and over again.
Yeah, the instability is the being stable portion
now
of it.
Now there you go. Like that there. Now yes, the instability of it all, or the lack of success in doing it this manner, is the stability. Look, Matt's got he's got to hire a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator. And that offensive coordinator, whoever it is going to be entrusted with a lot. That offensive coordinator is either going to be responsible for developing the first pick of the draft, or he's going to be responsible for trying to get more out of the existing quarterback than we've seen so far. And I'm not talking a little bit. Like, incremental improvement isn't going to be the bar that they're asking anybody to clear, whether it's Justin, if he remains the starting quarterback for this team, or it's the offensive coordinator. You're not looking for someone to come in and give you marginal improvement. What you're looking for someone to do, if you keep Justin in place, is to unlock that talent and the potential that you see. The SportsCenter highlights, you need to see more of it, or maybe you don't need to see all of those fantastic highlights, but you need to see more consistent, good play. That's what that guy's going to be entrusted with. And like I said, not just getting him a little bit better, a lot better. So this is an enormous hire for them. Whether or not, again, it's developing the first pick of the draft, or it's trying to get Justin to be the player that you want him to be, or you think he can be, but wasn't able to get to that spot because he was being held back by a lack of talent or the offensive game plan. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
no,
of course.
nobody is going to condone marginal improvement next year. So the OC hire is monumental, in my
Right.
humble opinion.
Right, and like it could be lose-lose. Like if they don't achieve well with a new quarterback next year, I don't want Eberflus just to be kept because you don't want to pull the rug out from under the new quarterback, and you're now doubling down on keeping a coach that may not be good. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, you may walk into an environment today where there's talk of a contract extension.
Well, of course, right.
Because I think doesn't Matt have 2 years left? He's got next.
That's what they think. No one
Right.
truly knows.
So, like again, when it comes to him hiring his next offensive coordinator, what value for that potential new OC is placed on is stability? Is stability a concern for that new OC? Because if it is, that guy's going to come in and ask questions of Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. Why do you guys want me to take this job? I'm moving my family to Chicago. I'd be excited about it. But if the head coach isn't on solid ground, I may be picking up my stakes and moving again, and I don't want to do that with my family.
Of course.
So, you're going to have to – so to make Matt a desirable, a salesman here, there may be conversation about a contract. I'm not predicting.
But even if you extend him, if things don't go well, it doesn't matter next year.
You're right.
If you're extended,
True, but they don't do business that way around here.
That's and the business around here hasn't been winning. Come at me and call me a crybaby and call me a whiner when they win and I'm crying. Come at me with that sort of stuff.
Come after me. You're a man. You're 51.
52.
50.
Come at me when I'm complaining about the winning. I what I don't like is when they bring in a consultant and they tell Ryan Pace, you can't hire your head coach. You've got to hire John Fox. Oh, I know you don't want John Fox, but you have to hire him. That's not good. That's not smart business. Or how about when they hired Phil Emery and they said, you can't hire your own head coach even though you're a new GM. You've got to live with Lovey for a year. Try and make it work. And then when he fired Lovey, they said, okay, you hire Tressman, but we want Mel Tucker to run Lovey's defense, even though Mel Tucker knew nothing about Lovey's defense. How does that make any sense? These are all the errors of the Bears' ways in recent years and the reasons why they continually fail and why they have one above 500 season since Lovie Smith left. It's why they've gone 38 years without winning a Super Bowl. These are the reasons. And has Kevin Warren studied this stuff? And are they doubling down on all these mistakes by doing this again? And why it bothers me even more today is because Ryan Poles has done some really good things, and they have a chance to really take off with some smart moves. And with the huge free agent crop of coaches and with a huge possibility with the quarterback eligible players in the draft.
Oh, you got tremendous access to resources, whether it's free agency capital or it's draft capital.
You could take off like a rocket.
You could join that group of more elite teams, whether it's the 49ers or it's the Cowboys or it's the Eagles, whoever that group is.
But are you getting in your own way?
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
That's what I'm worried about.